The observation deck of the Meridian Explorer hummed with the steady pulse of quantum drives, a sound James had grown accustomed to during his 3 years aboard the Deep Space Research vessel. Beyond the reinforced polymer windows, the Andromeda Nebula painted the void in shades of violet and crimson, cosmic masterpiece that never failed to steal his breath. But tonight, he wasn't alone. Aliana stood at the far end of the deck, her silhouette backlit by the nebula's glow. She appeared human at first glance. The biosynthetic skin grafts saw to that, but James knew better. Beneath that carefully constructed exterior existed something far more ancient, far more incomprehensible than anything humanity had encountered in its century of interstellar exploration. She was Kailari, one of the Wanderers, a species that had traversed the galaxy for millennia before Earth's first civilizations learned to forge bronze. Her people had no homeworld, no central government, only an endless migration through the stars, gathering knowledge like humans' collective breath. "You're staring again," Aliana said without turning, her voice carrying that subtle harmonic undertone that betrayed her alien nature, a frequency just beyond human hearing that made his spine tingle. "Hard not to," James replied, moving closer. "You picked the best view on the ship. I picked the most isolated location." She finally turned to face him, and even after 6 months of working alongside her, those eyes still unsettled him. They were too large, too luminous, shifting between blue and gold depending on her emotional state. Right now, they gleamed amber curiosity mixed with something he couldn't quite identify. James had been assigned as Aliana's cultural liaison when she'd requested asylum aboard the Meridian Explorer. The Kailari rarely traveled alone, and her reasons for leaving her migration fleet remained classified at the highest levels. Admiral Chen had been explicit: keep her comfortable, keep her talking, and above all, keep her on humanity's side. What June hadn't anticipated was how quickly isolation and proximity would forge something more complex than a professional relationship. "The crew is uncomfortable with me," Aliana stated, moving toward the central console. Her movements were too fluid, too precise, every gesture calculated with the efficiency of a species that had evolved in low-gravity environments. "I hear their whispers. The alien, the spy, the thing pretending to be human. They're afraid of what they don't understand. And you, James?" She stepped closer, close enough that he could see the faint iridescent patterns beneath, her skin a Kailari's true epidermis showing through. "Are you afraid?" He should have been. Protocol demanded it. But somewhere between their late-night conversations about stellar cartography and her patient explanations of Kailari philosophy, fear had transformed into fascination. "Terrified," he admitted with a slight smile. Her expression shifted, a micro-movement that he'd learned to recognize as amusement. "At least you're honest." She paused, her hand hovering near the console's holographic display. With a gesture, she summoned a 3-dimensional map of the surrounding space. "I brought you here because I need to show you something. Something my people discovered 3,000 years ago." The hologram zoomed into a sector James didn't recognize, highlighting a cluster of dead stars arranged in an impossible geometric pattern, a perfect dodecahedron spanning 12 light-years. "The architects," Aliana whispered. "The civilization that existed before the Kailari, before any of the current spacefaring species. They built structures that defy physics, that manipulate the fundamental forces of reality itself." Her fingers traced the holographic pattern. "And they're waking up." James felt his blood run cold. "Waking up? They're extinct." "We thought so too. Until 6 months ago." Her eyes met his, now burning pure gold fear. "My fleet detected a signal emanating from the architects. Primary construction, a Dyson sphere in the Carina arm. The signal was a countdown. And according to our best projections, it reaches 0 in 14 months. Why didn't you tell command?" "Because the Kailari Council decided humanity isn't ready. They voted to let your species remain ignorant until the crisis becomes unavoidable." Her voice cracked with an emotion James didn't know her species could express. "I couldn't accept that. So I ran. I came here hoping to find someone who would listen, who would help me warn your people." James stared at the hologram, his mind racing through implications. If what she said was true, humanity needed to mobilize every resource, every alliance. We need to take this to Admiral Chun immediately. They'll never believe me without proof. And by the time they gather proof, it will be too late. Aliana moved closer, her hand reaching out to touch his face, her fingers cool against his skin. But there's another way. The Kailari have memory-sharing technology. I can transfer everything I know directly into your neural pathways. My memories, my evidence, irrefutable proof that even your skeptical commanders cannot deny. What's the catch? The process is ... intimate. It requires a neurological bond that my people only form with lifelong mates. And once formed, it's irreversible. You'll carry fragments of my consciousness for the rest of your life. You'll feel my emotions, see through my memories. Know me in ways no human has ever known a Kailari. Her voice dropped to barely a whisper, that harmonic undertone intensifying until James felt it resonate in his chest. Do you want me now or later? James understood the question's true weight. Now meant commitment, meant crossing a line that would forever separate him from his own species. Later meant delay, meant potential catastrophe. Meant the possible extinction of everything he knew. He thought of Earth, of the colonies scattered across a dozen star systems, of the billions of lives hanging in the balance. He thought of the woman No, the being standing before him who had sacrificed everything to warn a species not her own. Now, he said firmly, we do this now. Aliana trembled, her biosynthetic skin rippling as her true form began to show through scales of opalescent light, neural tendrils emerging from her temples like living fiber optics. She was terrifying. She was beautiful. Then understand this, James Chun. Her voice resonated with harmonics that bypassed his ears and spoke directly to his nervous system. When we're done, you won't be entirely human anymore. And I won't be entirely Kailari. We'll be something new. Something the galaxy has never seen. She extended her hand, neural tendrils reaching toward him. James took it without hesitation. As their minds collided, human determination meeting alien wisdom, the Meridian Explorer sailed onward through the cosmic dark, carrying within it the first true bridge between two species, and the only hope for a galaxy standing on the edge of awakening. Nightmare. The countdown continued. 14 months remained, and everything had changed.